Everyone's going to say they track renter insurance. Most people don't do it correctly. All right, today we're going to talk about two of the most common areas where we can provide value to you as a multifamily owner or a property management company. One is implementation of a renter subrogation insurance program. Super important, either creating one or complementing the one that you have. And secondly is vendor insurance tracking. We want to make sure you have proper protection to help provide coverage for any losses. So we're going to dive into that today. Look forward to talking with you. I'll just give you a little example of some of the things we see when we start working with a new multifamily client, right? Most of our multifamily clients start around 5,000 units and go up. In that sector of let's say 5,000 units, many times there's not a full-time risk manager, so they need help, right? And one of the things we always want to do is provide value to the organization, make sure the investment's provided, make sure that there's not an issue with your continued operations, that you can continue operating and do what you do, right? So whether you're a multifamily owner, multifamily manager, many times an owner is going to be a manager, etc. A couple of things that we do, right? First thing we always do is implement a subrogation program for renters insurance. And let me take a step back. Let me explain what a subrogation program does, right? A subrogation program for renters insurance. If you're a multifamily owner, chances are you're asking for insurance coverage from every single resident. And you should be, right? If the resident's at fault, there's a mechanism to where we can go subrogate to the at-fault party, being that resident, to recoup some funds from a loss. So if you're a large owner, chances are you have a large insurance policy, right? So, a large deductible on your program. So we have a building fire, all right? Depending on how many units are in that building, we could have multiple units. Resident B causes a fire, burns this building down. Happens all the time. In this example, what we do is, depending on what we always, investigation starts. Most of the time, this is in conjunction with our adjusting team. We'll have a cause and origin investigator go out. What does a cause and origin investigator do? They're a third-party, unbiased fire investigator that's actually going to get to the root of what caused that fire. They're the ones that sift through the ashes. They're the ones that pull electrical wiring. They're the ones that send appliances off to get tested, right? Or cooking appliances. This is a very detailed investigation. Now, I'm going to go off topic for just a second. What a lot of people don't realize is unless there's a death, a homicide, or a suspected of major arson, the fire department does not do these investigations, right? It's not the fire department to do them. They will not do a cause and origin investigation, again, unless it's usually a homicide situation, someone is unfortunately killed, or they suspect a large arson. Fire department is not going to do this, right? It's up to the property owner and the property owner's insurance to do a cause and origin investigation. So we're part of those. We oversee these. We make sure they happen correctly. So what happens is, going back to subrogation for renter's insurance, in the event, let's say unit B causes fire, if the cause and origin can determine that this resident caused a fire, we will go back and look to that resident's renter's insurance to provide coverage. So it all depends on what you're requiring. Now, this is such a big deal. Almost every single client that we help with the subrogation programs, we pay our annual fee just by implementing this and implementing this correctly, because there are so many gaps that are left. If you're a management company and you're watching this, your property managers are busy, your regional managers are busy, right? There's a lot going on. Chances are everyone is overworked, from the property manager level up to the CFO, up to the C-suite. There's a lot going on in a management company. And things get overlooked in subrogation, right? One of the things we do is we'll either completely take over the subrogation program. What does that mean? It means we'll assist, and it doesn't have to be you. You don't have to be the bad guy either. We'll assist with recovering under this residence insurance program. Most of the time it's $100,000 or $300,000 limit. That doesn't matter too much. But one of the things we do is when we help with these programs moving forward, we help adjust these limits to coordinate with your property deductibles too. Because if we're seeing an increase in fires, we want to make sure that you have a little padding for the fires that are caused by residents to recoup some dollars, right? So subrogation, renters insurance program is something we always implement. And if you already have one, we can help complement it, right? We can help provide, a backup to your property managers, to your regional managers, whoever's handling that, or maybe even someone in your accounting team, to make sure that all items are correctly accounted for. Just this year, we had a couple where they weren't accounting for business income, right? That's a big line item. On one loss, we had $50,000 of business income that wasn't properly accounted for. We went in, we made sure that, that our owner was able to get that $50,000 of business income through the subrogation of the renter's insurance. It was not easy, but that's what we do. And in fact, on that one, our fee was also included because someone has to do it, right? It's a justifiable fee under the policy. It's no cost many times to our clients to have a proper program in place. And what does it do? It makes sure that you can continue operating as little out of your pocket as possible to rebuild this building. Number one items that we always do for our new multifamily clients is subrogation for renters insurance programs. The second item we do is vendor tracking, vendor insurance tracking. Now, in this example, this is for an apartment community that's already built, right? There's not any major construction going on. There might be some CapEx going on. If you're an apartment owner, you're going to go into a new deal. You're going to have a value add. You're going to have some CapEx, maybe some minor construction. You're probably not doing ground up. So vendor insurance tracking is so huge. Why? Because you could potentially have a loss that's not covered. Everyone's going to say they track vendor insurance. Most people don't do it correctly. That's okay. You got a lot going on. It's something we help with, right? I don't care who it is stepping on that property. They have to have evidence of insurance. And in addition to the garbage accord, evidence of insurance programs, we actually ask for endorsements. We're going to ask for policy copies. We're going to ask for actual true evidence of coverage to make sure that you're covered. Let's give some examples, right? An apartment community. All apartment communities have a pool. I just like using the pool as an example. The pool's got a fence. You got a clubhouse, right? So this actually comes to mind because very commonly there's smaller pool companies. There's smaller pool guys. You got a one pool guy operation that drives a truck. Well, hey, the property manager's known Billy for 15 years and he does a great job on the pools. I bet he does. I bet he's a great pool guy. But guess what? Unless he gets the proper coverage, now you as the property owner, you need to make sure the coverage is in place in the event Billy causes an issue. Vendor insurance tracking is huge, whether you got a pool contractor, whether you're doing a rebuild, whether you're doing some CapEx. If you're doing CapEx and you've got, your plumbing guys or electrical guys, anyone that's not in-house, we want to make sure, one, we look at their contracts, and two, they have proper coverage, and they're naming you properly in that insurance program. That doesn't happen many times. We want to make sure you have additional insured, actual endorsements. Why? Because if we have to subrogate, meaning go back against these contractors, we want to make sure we can do it as quickly as possible and actually recoup dollars as much as possible, right? When we go into a new multifamily deal, these are the two new multifamily client. These are two of I'd say, the leading changes that we initially make. One, helping implement or complement the subrogation for the renter's insurance, and two, vendor insurance tracking. And again, the big part of all this is it does affect your bottom line. It does affect your insurance renewal. And we'll talk more about that later, but the more that we can subrogate and not have claims against your own insurance policy, the more your insurance is going to move smoothly because you don't have losses on your policy, right? And secondly, at renewal, it's going to continue to help you. Your losses are down. It's going to help your premiums. It's going to maybe even help you get coverage. We've got some hard markets right now. So any questions, feel free to reach out. I'd love to help you out. We do a lot in the multifamily space. My name is Douglas Francisco with Spartan Risk Management. Look forward to talking over there.